I guess the story begins Saturday morning. So we woke up at 3 a.m. Our appointment was at 5 a.m. But I don't think either of us slept very much that night anyway, because we were just very anxious and excited. It is Saturday morning, about 4 a.m., and we're just about to leave for the hospital so that I could be induced and we can have our baby. Any last words?
Hang on, Atlas.
You know, he does not know what's coming for him. It's happening, and we can't wait to meet you, baby. So we got there at 5, got checked in. We sort of just sat around. They checked my blood pressure, and we sort of just sat around until like 9 a.m. So the midwife came about 9 to discuss our options. She said that we could take like a more or less medicated route for the induction, essentially. I told her that I had originally planned to have a completely unmedicated birth if I could. So I wanted to go as close to that route as possible with the induction. So the least medicated option was the Foley balloon, they call it. So it's basically like a water balloon. The nurse or the midwife put that in and then kind of left us alone for like 6 hours. During that time, we ordered a lot of food from the free room service and kind of just hung out. Travis squeezed in a nap. What else happened during that time?
Nothing. I mean, yeah, seriously nothing.
Tenders, potato chips, and baby carrots. Does that sound like a good choice?
Sounds like kind of a snack and not dinner.
I said chicken tenders.
Oh, yeah, that sounds good.
Potato chips and baby carrots.
Yeah. It's 6 o'clock. We've been here since 5
a.m.
Yeah, 5 a.m. It's currently 6 p.m.
Yep.
Here's my little chill spot back here.
Cubby. Couch.
We started with the balloon real early.
Well, first we sat here for 4 hours while
Oh yeah,
we
just
waited
like getting
for a midwife.
admitted and got the balloon, got breakfast, just kind of sat around. I don't know.
Things are happening.
Yeah, they say you're getting contractions.
I feel them. They're not like anything wild, but something is contracting.
So I'm gonna go to Qdoba and get a really big burrito so that I can eat half of it now and half of it at midnight.
As he does normally with Qdoba.
So,
I'm about to get some baby carrots and whatever else I said at the beginning of this video. Potato chips and chicken tendies.
yeah.
Yum yum. Quit it.
I think I'm working on about 4 or 5 hours of sleep.
One of the two of us got a nap since we've been here, and it wasn't me.
Yeah, it was me.
Okay, bye. I think it was
7:30, you said?
7:30 when they came to check me again. The site tech had definitely kicked up my contractions. Like, I felt them at that point, and they were pretty regular every couple of minutes. They were short, and they weren't like you know, anything crazy or unbearable, but they were noticeable and they were happening. So that was exciting. We felt like we were like, oh, like something must be happening now that that's, you know, going on. So it was 7:30 that they came in and checked me again. And the nurse like asked if she could just tug on the balloon and see if it would come out. So it's designed to fall out when you're dilated to like a 3 or a 4 because that's the size of the balloon. So she tugged on it and it came out. So that was exciting. She went and kind of got the midwife. So, update. It's 10 minutes after 8. Can you move that a little further away from my face? Thank you. It's 10 after 8. And they came in and checked me, and they said I was dilated to a 6. They were saying that a 3 or a 4 when they went in to check is kind of what they were hoping for, and if I was at a 4, they were going to be really happy. And then she said I was at a 6. So the Foley balloon worked really well.
And the cytotech.
In the cytotech, yep. So that's good. The bad news is that as she was like feeling around in there, she was like, I'm not sure if I can feel the baby's head anymore. So let's check with an ultrasound, and they did that, and she's transverse. So just popped right out of there. As she does.
She wanted to recline a little bit.
Yep. I mean, to be fair, I was also reclining at the time, so it's probably my fault. We both just got a little too comfortable, and here we are. So I'm now upright again, and I am on the birth ball, rolling around, pushing on her, trying to get her to go back, head down. And I've been doing it for about 45 minutes now. And I don't think she's done much, but it's hard to say. Yeah, wish us luck with that. We'll see what happens. They're giving me until 9:30.
And they'll check on us.
Yeah, and then see what we do from there. So I am frickin' determined to make this kid go back head down. So that's all very exciting. That's another contraction. Just gonna like just rock her down. Anyway, wish us luck. And then they, you know, came back in and did another ultrasound, which I already knew she was in the same position that she had been, or like back in that same position that she had been. So when they checked her, they were like, yeah, she's still transverse. So the next plan, or the next step, was another ECV. We had just had an ECV done less than a week prior that was very easy and successful. So I was expecting that. I was like, yeah, no big deal. We'll just do another ECV, put her head down. And then the plan, once they got her head down, was to break my water right away, to kind of eliminate everything that she was floating around in. So once she was head down, they'd break my water, and she'd just kind of descend and be kind of like locked in to place. So, and then hopefully we wouldn't have to worry about her flipping back over again, and could just like continue with the labor like normal. So they got the OB in the room, gathered the team. There were a lot of people in there for that procedure. They did one more ultrasound just to confirm. The OB himself wanted to see her position. They checked that, and that's when he saw or pointed out that there was basically no amniotic fluid like left around her. Like my water hadn't broken yet, but she was blocking it with her back, how she was laying. So it was all just sort of trapped beneath her. And none of it was up around her body where they needed it to be able to turn her easily. That was not ideal, but they were going to try it anyway, of course. So they did, and it was very different than the first one. So they tried 2 times in like very quick succession, like they didn't stop in between. And then they paused. They wanted to check the baby, because that procedure can be very stressful to the baby. So they wanted to make sure that she was still doing okay. And also, I think, give me a chance to like breathe. once I was able to calm down a little bit, we all discussed like what the next step would be or what our options were at that point. The OB said that he didn't think it was likely that we were going to get her turned, but that we could try again if I wanted to. I had asked about getting an epidural. In theory, you have the epidural, you can't feel what's happening, so your body is not tense, you can relax, and it makes it easier to spin the baby. So I asked at this point if that was something that we should try, because I was, kind of desperate at that point for anything that would make that procedure work. The doctor said, you don't need one for that reason, basically. We did decide that it still made sense to get the epidural after some additional conversations because a couple of reasons. One, if the baby went into distress during the next attempt and they weren't able to, get her stabilized, they would just take me back immediately for an emergency C-section. And if that happened, there wouldn't be time to place an epidural before the surgery. So I would have to go under general anesthesia for the C-section, and I wouldn't be able to be awake for her birth. And then if the ECV didn't work, we'd be looking at a C-section that night anyway. And someone in the room, I don't know who, pointed out that if the ECV was successful and they were able to get her to turn, they could always shut the pain meds off, turn off the epidural. Yeah. Basically, so I'd have it placed, but they didn't have to use it. They didn't have to put in the meds. Between all of that, we decided to go ahead and do the epidural. So they sat me up kind of on the edge of the table, or the edge of the bed, so that they could put the epidural in. The anesthesiologist came in to do that, along with another nurse, who was very sweet. She sort of held me and whispered kind things in my ear while the epidural was happening. They got the epidural placed. It was all the way in, but they hadn't even put any of the pain meds in it yet when my water broke. So I was just sitting there on the edge of the table and I just felt a gush. So they laid me back down and checked and confirmed that yes, my water had broken. Essentially, we had no other options at that point. There was no fluid left to have anything to spin her around in, so they couldn't really even attempt the ECV. It didn't make sense to try again. And the only other way to have the baby at that point was a C-section, because again, there's nothing you can do if the baby's sideways. You can't deliver a sideways baby. So we were prepped for a C-section. They sort of wheeled me off right away to go get me ready in the OR while Travis was scrubbing up. They made him put on, OR scrubs and sit and wait in the room. I remember the lady saying to you, okay, you wait here, I will come back and get you for the procedure. Don't panic, it's gonna feel like a long time, and you're gonna think that I forgot about you, but I didn't. I'll be back.
Yeah.
And I'll get you, and we'll take you in once she's prepped and ready.
So the ECV didn't work. They were giving her an epidural and her water broke, so we didn't get her flipped, so we just took her back to OR to get a C-section. So I'm just waiting to be collected so I can be there too. They did come get me eventually.
Yes.
He
did not stay there forever.
And brought me to the OR room, and they were definitely already in there. There was the TV in there that you said you watched a little bit of, but I didn't find it until after they had already pulled Wrenna out. So,
yeah. I was looking like over his shoulder and kind of watching bits of the surgery on the TV, which is, I don't think I need to say that that was like a really bizarre experience. That was really weird.
Yeah.
I watched on the TV the moment that they pulled her out and she was purple and started screaming right away. I could see over to my left as they like handed her like around the curtain to the nurses that were over there. And Travis went over to her right away. She looked like bigger than I expected her to. I remember thinking that when they were like handing her over and I saw her like going through the air and she's like sticking her arms and legs out and she's like slimy and purple and she looked huge and I'm like, is that my baby? Like, did she come out of me? That's crazy. And then what happened?
I was trying to do skin to skin, but all I could do was like temple to temple, so I just kind of held them together for.
Yeah, he held her up to my face and so I could kind of feel her and kiss her and was still trying to not throw up onto her at this point. Wheeled me out the hall and up the elevator, and it's very surreal being wheeled through the hospital. Like I felt like I was on a TV show because I've never had a surgery before. So that was kind of surreal. But yeah, they wheeled us up to the recovery room, and then we were there for I think like 2 hours.
Yeah.
So we were able to nurse her, and then
They dressed her and showed me, in this case, how to change a diaper. Most of that time, it was like checking blood pressure.
They were checking
heart rate on you.
Yeah, my blood pressure every like 15 minutes at first. Between the epidural and the blood loss from the surgery, my blood pressure was really low.
Yeah.
Initially,
Super low.
which was very frustrating to me because the whole reason for the induction that we were there for in the first place was because of my high blood pressure.
Yeah.
And then immediately after the surgery, they're like concerned and maybe gonna have to like give me medication or something because my blood pressure is too low.
Yeah. I mean, you lost a lot of blood, so pressure is going to be lower.
It makes sense. I was just very irritated by it. So yeah, we were there for a couple of hours, and then when everything was good, we got the sign off to be wheeled up to our permanent room that we would be at until we were discharged.
It's 5:30.
Good morning.
On 1/23. My daughter's birthday.
She's here.
She's here.
And she's perfect. And she is the sweetest, bestest baby. Oh no, you can just show her. I want more of her. Yeah. She is the sweetest, best, smartest genius baby that there ever was. And she is obviously the most beautiful child ever to enter this world. And she is so good and just sleepy and amazing. And she's ours. We're parents.
Yeah.
Like officially.
Officially.
I've kind of felt like a parent for the last 9 months, but we're so lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, even when everything went wrong, we still ended up here, like with her.
Yeah. And we're all here.
And she's perfect. So we are so lucky.
heading home pretty soon. Just packing up now.
It's Monday. Leaving at 3.
We are on our way home from the hospital. So far, so good. It's a little hairy out here. But Travis is doing some expert level driving to get us home safely. I'm back here with Wrenna. And in here, look at her. Too perfect. It's too much.
It's the birth. The rest is history.
The rest is history. The rest is asleep in her swing over there.
She would not stop crying in our arms, so we had to automate that situation.
Yeah, sometimes the swing is just better than mom or dad. Like, let's
Yeah.
be real. We're only human. Sometimes
If I had
we
a
need
vibrating
robot.
swing that I could get into, I'd prefer that too. So